Hi everyone, welcome to another installment of Katie's social commentary, I guess. These are just videos that honestly are things that I think about a lot and talk about with people. My husband and I have like debates and like educated conversations often, and so these are just things that that are on my mind a lot, and I'd like to share them on my YouTube channel. Because I want my channel to be about all of the things I'm interested in, not just like charity things that I'm interested in, which is a big part of my life and a big part of things that I like to do. But on top of that, I like to just think and talk about ways that society impacts people as a whole. So today's video is going to be on mental health and glow up culture. I have a whole bunch of stuff written here for ideas, so if I glance down at my iPad, that's why. Maybe in the future I can try to like film this at a table and just kind of like glance over to my notes while I'm filming, but not today. So first of all, what I want to say is that mental health is real. I think we can all agree that the brain is an organ, just like the lungs are an organ. Everyone agrees that lungs can catch diseases that affect the function of breathing. So it's really weird to me that not everyone can agree that the brain can also catch diseases that can affect the function of behavior. This video is not to debate the legitimacy of mental illnesses. I'm making another video about how people deal with different issues differently. I don't know if I'm going to put it up before or after this one, but either way, keep an eye out. But what I want to talk about is how social media both helps and hurts the idea of mental health and glow up culture. So first, I think that social media gives the ability for people to keep in touch with supportive friends. Even if it's just texting. So for example, I moved the summer between 6th and 7th grade. So I was in middle school, literally like in the middle of middle school. And we didn't have cell phones or anything back then. I still had paper and pen pals, if that gives you any idea. That was 1997. Yeah, I think it was 1997. So I had a lot of friends in my previous hometown that I had lived from kindergarten to 6th grade. And I was not really able to keep in touch with them after that. Sometimes I would call them on their home phones and we would talk, or we would literally write paper and pen letters to each other. But it's not really the same level of contact as kids have today with texting. There certainly was no social media. I did end up getting online and get AOL Instant Messenger, but like I never got their screen names because by the time all that happened, like I had fallen out of touch with them and I didn't get their screen names from them, so I wasn't able to keep in touch that way. And basically I just lost all of my friends that I had for 11 years. And that was actually really hard for me. I think it would be a lot easier today if I were to move in. Well, I think it would be a lot easier for today for children to move to a different town and they can still keep in touch with their old friends via texting or FaceTiming, and you don't have to have a phone call in the middle of the living room with everybody listening because there's a cord connected to the wall. So I do think in that way, texting and Instagram, direct messaging, whatever, is helpful for kids in certain situations, especially if you just want to talk to somebody really quickly, talking about how you feel and no one else understands, and you might have a couple friends who understand. That's a great use of the invention of technology. Social media and texting to an extent also allows anonymity because people are more likely to say their feelings if they're anonymous, like on a message board or something. And these days you can have your cell phone and you can be, writing on a message board from your cell phone trying to get support from people, and it's completely anonymous. And people are so much more likely when that's the situation. And then texting, I do think it is easier to write about things, to text about things, than it is to sit down and talk about things. So I do also think, even though it's not quite anonymous, texting has also given that ability. And then just access to information and knowledge. Not that I would have used one, but like you have access to like helplines and mental health hotlines for every possible illness, suicide hotlines. I'll link these probably in my description box. But in addition, kids are also able to, when they see that information, they know that there are other people out there who are also having a hard time. Like you feel less alone. Whereas in the early days of the internet, or even way before the internet, no one else, it's not something that you talk about. And then beyond that, nobody else knew if anyone else was struggling with something, because people didn't really talk about it. If they did, it was just kind of like whispers, like, I heard so-and-so saw a therapist. Oh my goodness. And it was a really taboo topic. And I do think that I'm an older millennial, so probably like younger millennials and like Gen Z are making talking about those things a lot more okay, especially when it comes to sharing on social media platforms, your Instagram, your TikTok, and especially because you do have the ability to be more anonymous if you want to be. If you want to show your face and share your story, that's also great, because then people are also able to share their stories and listen to other people's stories and know that they're not alone. But these things just weren't options. So I do think that the access to information has been a great help of social media when it comes to these things. However, on the flip side, it's become almost trendy to say that you have depression or anxiety or eating problems or OCD or bipolar, and you see it if you spend enough time on the internet, and especially things like TikTok, which is, you know, dominated by younger people. It seems like it's almost trendy to say that. And I'm not saying that you need a doctor diagnosis to have those things, because not everyone has access to a doctor to get properly diagnosed. But I think a lot of people conflate, oh my goodness, I am so sad, I got rejected from my dream school and I can't get out of bed for a week, with depression. They're very different things. And I think a lot of people, with the access to information becoming so easier, so much easier, people have kind of like self-diagnosed themselves with stuff that they don't really have. That's not to say you can't be sad. That's not to say you can't be anxious. A lot of times people use the word anxious when actually they're excited or unsure or some other feeling. People also conflate, I really like to keep a clean house, I have so much OCD, oh my goodness. And that's not really what OCD is. And I think to an extent, this can diminish the trauma of people who do actually suffer with these things, because they'll go online and they'll see all these people saying, I have this and I have that, and these people's lives look fantastic. So then if you have that actual problem, you start thinking, wow, like they have this, they're saying they have this problem and they're doing great. They're out and about, hanging out with friends. Their life looks fantastic. Their life might not be fantastic. That might just be what they're posting online. But on the other hand, a lot of people saying they have these things don't actually have these things. I do also believe that mental issues exist on a spectrum, just like anything else. Like cancer exists on a spectrum. You have stage 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that works in a similar way for mental illnesses as well. And with a lot of these teen influencers online, you've got people like Emma Chamberlain, who has said that she had eating problems. If you look at her photos from 2018 and you go up to today, I mean, she very obviously most likely is struggling a lot. But then people look at her and they're like, oh my God, she has 10 million followers. I don't even know how many she has. She has millions and millions of followers. She has this, she has money, she has a house in LA. So like maybe it's okay or trendy or cool to have an eating problem. And you also have people like Charli D'Amelio who wrote in her Instagram stories, this is something that I'm dealing with, and pretty much that's it. She never really followed up on it. Emma never really followed up on it. They never said, I'm getting help, I'm working at it, it sucks, I'm struggling, it's hard. They just said, hey, I have this issue, guys, and their life looks great. So I think a lot of the younger influencers aren't really helping out when it comes to things like that as well. They're kind of unintentionally making it look cool or desirable. Now, as far as glow up culture is all around us, from Khloe Kardashian throwing a fit to get a photo removed from the internet, that she said it was so terrible that she needed it removed from the internet. And it's her in a bikini by a pool. It's obviously like not edited. It's just a photo that somebody took that got leaked. In my opinion, she looks great in this photo. Khloe Kardashian is literally like an American size 6. And for her to be throwing a fit to get that photo removed from the internet, like what is that telling children, and what is that telling people who are a size 6 or bigger? We're basically taught that all you need is a physical makeover and maybe money to obtain said physical makeover, and everything will be magically better. If you do a quick social media search of glow up, there will be dozens, probably hundreds of videos on YouTube. My glow up video, follow me, watch me glow up. There will be before and after Instagram pictures and blog posts, and I mean, it's really all over the internet. It's very pervasive. And these blogs and YouTube vlogs and everything, what they imply is that if you get a new cut and color, you go for a run and you start journaling every morning, you will be better, you will be cured. And this may help people a little bit. It may help people who don't have the mental illness, but maybe they're feeling sad for a little bit. If someone does have a mental illness, it may also help them a little bit, but it is certainly not a cure, in my opinion. It may help you short-term, temporarily feel better. On the other hand, if somebody tries these things and they don't feel better, they may feel even more like something's wrong with them. So I think that access to information can lead to a lot of self-diagnosis and therefore oversimplification of what a mental illness may actually be. You even see children's dolls. I saw a couple in Target, and it's like a glow up doll or something. I forget the name of it, but it basically has like a girl, and then, or you know, it has a doll, and then it has like all these things to help her glow up and make her look better and more desirable or whatever. I mean, you have it all over society, where you have Princess Diaries, and Anne Hathaway, you know, has her frizzy hair and her glasses, and they take off her glasses, put some makeup on her, fix her hair, and wow, now she looks fantastic. Interestingly though, that character still felt really awkward. So, I mean, I guess that's a good thing. But I think really what we need is not to glow up. We need to reject the culture that oversimplifies illnesses. You have to recognize what's toxic and put yourself first, because I promise it's not selfish to put yourself first. Not saying you can't go get a cut and color, mani-pedi, whatever, but don't expect that to cure you. Not saying you can't go on a shopping spree and buy yourself a few new things, but don't expect it to cure you. So in conclusion, glow up culture bad, being true to yourself good, access to information good, self-diagnosing bad. Saying you have a mental illness and not following up on it, bad. Being honest with your fan base and your viewers if you are an influencer, good. Recognizing you might have a problem, good. Getting help for yourself that is not YouTube videos, of course, if you have access, good. I will leave some resources in my description box below. Let me know your thoughts.